All right, so you know how I've been posting about my life, and it's been a hot minute since I've posted anything about, anything that's going on. But yet, I'm still waiting on a response. I haven't heard from a single family member about what happened about them, having my birth certificate that they supposedly used in a court case, and they still haven't told me anything. I haven't been able to find any information. And, you know, I know why they do the things they do. They think I'm a fucked up individual. Hey, I know I've done some fucked up shit. I was in a bad state when I was younger. When after like the whole thing about my ex attacking me on my 21st birthday, my mom dying 6 days later really fucked me up. It really did. And you know, at the funeral, not, and I'm not blaming my dad for this, but at the funeral, me not being able to cope and him handing me an alcohol drink was like, here, drink to forget. And I was just like, he was like, mija, toma, toma. You know what I mean? Like, take this, drink this. And, I started hardcore drinking after that. But, being a functional alcoholic, I was still able to go to work and then drink after or whatever. Um, and then, having all these surgeries and stuff, because I've had like 16 or more actually. Now at this point, it's been like 20 different surgical procedures on my body, to repair and reconstruct my knees, fucking reconstruct a whole lot of fucking stuff in my body that, from past injuries of abuse, not only from exes, but, my father and shit like that. So I know why they do the things they do or why they're angry with me. So I understand, like for instance, this one thing. So when I was in my early 20s, fuck. When I was in my early 20s, after the whole thing of, after my mom passed and stuff, I wanted to start dating. So I was like on this dating app, right? I think it was the love game or some shit like that. It was on like I think we had like T-Mobile. It was a specific game for Motorola back then, right? So I met somebody from Los Angeles and, online, and we were talking for a while, and, he wanted to come meet me, and I was like, cool. But, back then, and as it is, should be now, I did not feel safe just meeting some random stranger off, the internet. So he was going to bring his cousin. So naturally, I was like, oh, I didn't really have friends back then. I mean, I've really never had friends. So I asked my sister, "Hey, will you go with me? I have a date, and I don't feel safe." So, we went, we hung out. We didn't really hit it off. Nothing came of it. But um, apparently, my sister started dating his cousin, and I was like, okay. It was kind of weird because he was like a lot young. He was like more my age, and she's like more like 11 years older than I am. So to me, it was weird. But I started to feel like shit afterwards because it was like, all right, she had her partner at the time, which wasn't her husband because her husband had left her, but she was dating somebody at the time. And my nieces were already starting to look at him as their dad. And I was just like, like, fuck. I felt like shit because it was like, I didn't want my nieces to lose this, this person that was around them that they considered their father because their father took off with some chick. Um, so at one point, I told my sister, I was like, hey, you know what? Me and what's his face really like each other, which it wasn't like that really. It was just we were friends. We would, hang out, play video games and shit. And since I was such a fucking hardcore drinker, and I mean hardcore, like 2, 3 bottles of liquor a day, and I mean liquor, not beer. So huge bottles of Bacardi and stuff. So whatever. That's neither here nor there. But I mean, it makes sense later. So I told her, I was like, hey, you know what? Me and him are interested in each other. We want to start dating. And she was like, oh, it's fine. But I knew for a fact because that's a big ass fucking no no. You don't date someone your sibling is dating or even your friend because that's not cool. That is not fucking cool. I knew for a fact she was gonna hate my guts for that shit. But I saw it as I rather have her hate me for dating somebody she was dating than my nieces lose the person they saw as their father. And I never really like hooked up with him. I never slept with him or anything like that. He would come over and he would drink with me. And since I drank so much, I would be like, let's, shot for shot, shot for shot. I would drink his ass under the table. He'd pass out on my sofa, and I play video games. Or we go dancing, come back, I get him drunk as fuck. He'd pass out, and he'd go home the next day all fucking hungover. And that went on for a few months. Every time he'd come over, I'd get him drunk off his fucking ass. He'd pass out, and I would go to bed because I had my own room. I had my own apartment, so like we'd play video games, Call of Duty, whatever. Because I was, big time into first person shooter shit, play online or whatever. And yeah, so he would come over, I'd get him drunk out of his fucking mind. He'd pass the fuck out. We never did anything. It was just, I needed her to be upset enough with me and him, or more like not want to be around him. So she'd stick around with the person she was with so it wouldn't break my niece's heart. Because they were like, I don't know, I don't know. The youngest was like maybe like 2 or 3, maybe a little bit older. So it was like this was back in like 2000, 2006, 2007, around that time. So the kids weren't all that big. So yeah. So I mean, I understand why my sisters hate me, or at least one of my sisters hate me. I don't know why the other one does. I really don't. You know, but it is what it is.